everybody, and welcome to episode 54 of CCA's Medical Minute, sponsored by Kroger Health. I am here today with two colleagues that need no introduction. I've taken that route because I've flubbed the introduction twice already. But anyway, it's Jill and Andy are with me today, so I'll leave it at that. Wanted to talk to you. We're closing out Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and we've talked about breast cancer quite a bit. The one thing we haven't really done is try to help connect patients to resources that are available, particularly in the greater Cincinnati area for our people that are local. And then we can even talk a little bit nationally towards the end as well. But back in the summer, we formed an entity called the Cincinnati Cancer Consortium, and CCA was one of the founding members of that. And the idea was to bring together organizations and share resources, help cooperate and optimize fundraising by cooperating on fundraising dates, event dates, things like that. But just a way to be smarter about how we all run our businesses for the benefit of patients. And so we're fortunate that we have 6 or 7 organizations in the Cincinnati Cancer Consortium that all provide resources directly to breast cancer patients. So we wanted to spotlight a couple of those today. And so I wanted to kick it off by maybe having Jill talk a little bit about some organizations she actually has familiarity with, which is Pink Ribbon Girls and the Chris Collinsworth ProScan Fund.
Yeah, so the Pink Ribbon Girls is a great organization that helps not only breast cancer patients, but also women with gynecologic malignancies. Yeah. And so they're an organization that are boots on the ground. They help with practical things like meals for the household, rides to treatment. They provide like a little house cleaning kit of all natural types of cleaners. And they also offer kind of the peer support for patients who are going through treatment, kind of connecting them with someone who's been there and done that. It's a great organization. The only thing you have to have is a diagnosis, and you connect right in. Okay. So they really do come right alongside and help with practical things.
Gotcha.
The Chris Collinsworth ProScan Pink Ribbon Fund, obviously ProScan being involved, the way that they kind of come alongside, they do the things like the helping with transportation, and but they also have program for free mammograms and assistance with those breast MRIs. Okay. Obviously, they're an imaging facility, so they have access to that, and that's where they help.
And one thing I thought was really interesting about them is they have a particular focus on, and we've talked about this before with Sherry and things like that, but women with dense breast tissue. Correct. And so that's the whole, I think, the origin behind the breast MRI.
Correct.
In particular.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Just because it's much more effective for that than a mammogram.
Correct.
Okay.
We kind of talked about this on one of our previous episodes, kind of trying to read a mammogram image with dense breast tissue is like looking at a glass of muddy water and trying to see through it. Yeah. Where a MRI really does clear up that image.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I know, and the stats really are that about half women have dense breasts.
Really? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so okay. it's not a small number of people.
Yeah, apparently, because I didn't know that. And so websites, Pink Ribbon Girls is pretty simple, pinkribbongirls.org. Mm-hmm. Chris Collinsworth ProScan is a little bit, just because you got to get your C's and P's right, but it's C is in cat, C is in cat, P is in P, F.org. I mean, it didn't come to me quickly. I'm sorry. I'm not a Delta reservations agent that has Alpha and Roger and Charlie and all that stuff.
What is the official P?
What is I don't know. That's a good question.
I'm thinking pie, but that's probably not right. I'm thinking apple pie, but
we'll have to look that one up.
Yes.
We'll have to come back to you on that.
Chris, if you can look that up for us, that'd be great.
I got Papa.
Papa. All right. There we go. All right. Okay, and then Andy, if you could talk a little bit about cancer family care and cancer support community, because those are not really associated with, they're not breast cancer specific, but they do provide some really valuable resources for breast cancer patients.
No, I was going to say, Cancer Family Care, this is from their website. Cancer Family Care is a nonprofit organization that helps children and adults cope with the effects of cancer diagnosis in the family. We are known throughout the greater Cincinnati area as a force of compassion and strength in the face of cancer-related illness and loss. All cancers. including liver cancer, which is also in October is also liver cancer month.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Their focus really is on therapeutic counseling. So, the real deal, so if we have a patient who we really, has issues with depression or whatnot, that's the kind of, therapeutic counseling that's available from, Cancer Family Care, but also education support. But weirdly enough, they also offer some, kind of nuts and bolts kind of things, free wigs, soothing things like therapeutic massage, healing touch for cancer patients, and actually reduce rates for even cancer caregivers because those folks need some help too. Yeah.
That's cool.
And
But,
the nice thing about the Cancer Family Care's counseling services, because there's just a significant amount of battle fatigue that goes along with a cancer diagnosis, and their counselors are trained to deal with cancer situations versus I don't want to knock any of the traditional counselors out there, but when it's your focus and your patient is walking that walk, having someone come alongside you that understands the emotional impact really does have a lot more value.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny. I haven't availed myself of that yet, but I can see why it's important, because just even in my own battle, with cancer, it's just, you think you move beyond something, and then you have a setback, and or some side effect that comes out of the blue, and it can become very frustrating, if nothing else. Maybe that's the quickest word I could pick, is frustrating. But
that's a typical man go-to emotion. Just so you know.
Okay, all right, got it.
that would be the one I would expect you to go to.
All right, sounds good. Andy, tell us a little bit about Cancer Support Community.
Yeah, so they've been around for about 30 years in the tri-state area, and if you read their stuff, it's a little bit slightly different focus. So they talk about intended to provide non-medical, psychosocial, and emotional support. So it's support groups.
Okay.
So there's some overlap, and there's some overlap in the support they give, but really more focus on those support groups that get together and help each other. And here's I took from their calendar for this month, and just looking at some of the stuff they offer. So this month there's yoga, there's Zumba, Pilates. Sounds like a workout calendar, of course.
That sounds hard.
With of course cancer patients in mind, chemotherapy side effects classes, cancer networking groups, living with cancer support group. All you need to know about cancer genetic testing. So that's interesting to focus on that. So and they have both in person and Zoom classes. So a wide range of support, and whether you can get there or not, that you can still participate. So.
That's cool. That's cool. And one thing, this is just my own editorial comment, but where I think these are really important is if you think through the paradigm of back 30, 40 years ago, when so many people with breast cancer died, and there's still too many of those, but now so many people live with cancer.
Right.
And so that it's important to have these type of organizations too that support
right.
lifestyle.
I mean, it could be an ongoing support. Just because your last chemotherapy was yesterday doesn't mean that you're all better now.
Yeah.
And it's and even as you feel like emotionally and just strength wise you're getting better, maybe you can give back. Maybe you can actually you're in charge of the support group where you're saying, here's what I went through. You're at day one. Here's how we can get you through and do it together.
Yeah, great point.
Well, the nice thing about both of those organizations is that they have multiple locations throughout the city.
Yeah.
Cancer Family Care has multiple, so there's often a facility that is near to whatever part of Cincinnati that you live in. Cancer Support Community, I know that they have a location in Blue Ash, and then they have one in Northern Kentucky.
Nice. Eastgate, and they also have partner off-site locations as well.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. And one thing I thought was interesting when we first started to put this consortium together, there's something called the Erica J. Holloman Foundation. This is tough for me. This is a long one, for the awareness of triple-negative breast cancer. And so it really caught my eye when I first saw this, because my wife, as you know, was is a triple-negative breast cancer survivor. But this is really unique. I mean, this is unique to the 10 to 15% of breast cancer survivors that are triple negative. And so this is a kind of a specific support group to support those women. I don't know, are any men that get triple negative breast cancer? I don't know, probably not.
Well,
sure. I mean,
I guess
and I mean, if you think about the overlap here, so a lot of men have a genetic mutation that cause them to have the breast cancer. Triple negative is associated more with the genetic mutation, so there's some overlap there.
Yeah.
So yeah, for
Okay.
sure.
All right, but they do some really, really cool stuff. It's mostly education and advocacy and patient support. They do have an event I'll probably sign up for, which is their annual Brawl Drive.
Nice.
Yeah,
Are you headed in there?
Probably need some male support for that, I'm thinking. This is cool. I thought it was really cool. They do gift baskets to women with triple negative breast cancer that have had a double mastectomy and reconstruction, which I thought was kind of cool. Karen Wellington Foundation. This is near and dear to our heart. They focus on fun, and that's part of their tagline. But they deliver the gift of fun, and so I was fortunate to be part of a gift delivery last week, as a matter of fact, to a guy with breast cancer.
Nice.
Awesome.
And so they were giving him and his partner a Broadway show and dinner out. So, but they run the gamut from trips to spa days, kind of dining out, sporting events. But the whole idea is, at least for one night or 1 week, to take cancer out of your life.
Yes.
Which is very, very cool. And that's just simple. KarenWellingtonFoundation.org. This is a new organization I thought was really cool. They're called Move Beyond Surviving, and it's a local guy that's is the executive director. I think his name is Tom Tressler. I've met him once or twice, but their whole thing is kind of get cancer survivors, breast cancer survivors, out into nature, into the environment, go hike on hiking trips, rock climbing trips, kayaking trips. They do a week-long thing to North Carolina with Outward Bound, where they proudly say you don't get to take a shower for the entire week, which no way would this guy sign up for that. But that's
that would
not
imply that there's not running water.
Yeah, that's
and
not good.
that I'm worried about the showers.
Right. But I'm sure it's great. But
yes,
but
I met Tom last week.
Did you?
He was great.
Okay.
We talked about it, and yes, there's the physical part about it and the being out in nature part, but there's something to be said about the journey.
Yeah.
The whole, and that's really what the Outward Bound
camaraderie.
experience is about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So interesting guy, interesting organization, and seems like they're doing a lot of good.
Yeah.
For
Really,
such
really good. I think.
Such a new organization. Yeah.
Yep. And even if there's anybody watching this that's out of the greater Cincinnati area, even American Cancer Society has extensive patient resources on their website, which is cancer.org. But they also have an interesting program called Reach to Recovery, where you can do kind of live conversation with a breast cancer survivor. Kind of in a mentorship type thing. So anyway, we just want to kind of close out the month of October talking about breast cancer, but from a real practical level, how do you get help and where do you go to? So Chris will put, he doesn't know this yet, but he's going to put all of the websites on the bottom of the screen while we're talking about the organization. So you can get in contact with them as you need. Thanks everybody for joining, and we will see you back here again next Wednesday at noon. Thanks.